भदौरिया जी हमको बतला।
Hello and welcome to In Focus, and taking steps forward towards the vision of an Atmanirbhar Bharat, the cabinet has approved the PLI scheme for textiles for MMF apparel, MMF fabrics and 10 segments and products of technical textiles with a budgetary outlay of rupees 10,683 crore, and it is estimated that over the period of 5 years the PLI scheme for textiles will lead to fresh investment of more than rupees 19,000 crore. Cumulative turnover of over rupees 3 lakh crore will be achieved under this scheme and will create additional employment opportunities for more than 7.5 lakh jobs in this sector and several lakhs more for the supporting activities. So what are the benefits, who all are eligible, and whether the target is realistic that we are talking about the 5 years? We'll talk all of that. What are the product categories the scheme will cover and the broad criteria for selecting the beneficiaries of the scheme. PLI scheme has also been divided in two parts. We'll try and understand that too. Guests will also be joining us, and the panel of guests will be joining us in a short while. Now let's get it started. We have a story with us. The cabinet has approved a major incentive for textile sector with production linked incentives totaling 10,683 crore rupees. PLI scheme for textiles is part of the overall announcement of the scheme for 13 sectors made earlier during the Union Budget 2021-2022 with an outlay of rupees 1.97 lakh crore. More in this report.
Taking another step towards a self-reliant India through its Make in India initiative, the Modi government has taken another major step in the direction bringing huge relief for the textile industry. The government has approved the PLI scheme in the textile sector. Under this scheme, a total incentive of rupees 10,683 crore will be provided to the textile sector for 10 different products. This decision will help Indian textile companies to emerge on the global stage.
मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ टेक्सटाइल के अंतर्गत जो टेक्सटाइल का उद्योग है उससे लाखों लोगों को रोजगार का सृजन होता है, रोजगार के अवसर मिलते हैं और इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल को देखते हुए वैश्विक वस्त्र व्यापार में भारत का अपना प्रभुत्व और बढ़े, उसके लिए इस निर्णय को किया गया है। कुल मिलाकर 5 वर्षों में 10,683 करोड़ रुपया, 5 वर्षों में 10,683 करोड़ के मूल्य के प्रोत्साहन मुहैया कराए जाएंगे।
Textiles Minister Piyush Goyal said that the main focus of the PLI scheme will be on the rural areas including Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities of the country. States such as Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana will benefit from the scheme.
जब हम तय करेंगे किसको ये PLI स्कीम का बेनिफिट मिले, उसमें जो मापदंड रखेंगे उसमें 2-3 मापदंड पे विशेष जोर दिया जाए। एक तो जो कंपनियां या जो फैक्ट्रियां एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट या Tier 3, Tier 4 शहरों के आसपास लगती हैं उसको ज़्यादा प्राथमिकता दी जाएगी। साथ ही साथ कितना रोजगार निर्माण करेंगे इस स्कीम के तहत, उस बिंदु को भी विशेष ध्यान दिया जाएगा। उसके ऊपर विशेष मार्किंग करके प्राथमिकता देके उनको आगे बढ़ाया जाएगा।
The Cabinet's decisions show government's serious commitment to provide relief to each and every section of the society. The government is not only concerned with the welfare of the farming community but is also taking steps to provide relief to other sectors as well, which is likely to give a big boost to the Make in India initiative. Bureau Report, DD India.
And the Prime Minister has described the move of approving the production linked incentive, which is PLI scheme for the textile industry, as important in many ways. This is what he has tweeted: through the PLI scheme in textiles, India seeks to emerge as a hub for global textiles manufacturing. The PLI scheme will further women empowerment and accelerate progress in the aspirational districts. And he also said our textiles sector plays a vital role in the economy. In order to give a further boost to the sector, and strengthen our endeavour to create an Atmanirbhar Bharat. The Cabinet today approved a PLI scheme for textiles. And Commerce and Industry and Textiles Minister Piyush Goyal explained the PLI scheme and also detailed about the beneficiaries who all are eligible and how the entire scheme will work. Listen.
जो विजनरी कदम भारत में इम्प्लीमेंट हुआ है उसमें आज वस्त्र क्षेत्र के साथ जुड़ी पीएलआई की स्कीम को मंजूरी मिली। वस्त्र टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री एक ऐसी इंडस्ट्री है जो हर रुपया जो हम निवेश करते हैं उसमें सबसे अधिक रोजगार प्रोवाइड करता है। इसके साथ साथ वस्त्र हमारी देश की धरोहर भी है। टेक्सटाइल सेक्टर ने प्राचीन काल से भारत में बहुत लाभ दिया है, बहुत बढ़िया इसका योगदान रहा है भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था में। लेकिन परंपरागत तरीके से हमने जो फोकस किया है वो कॉटन टेक्सटाइल्स पे किया है और कॉटन टेक्सटाइल्स में हमारी एक अच्छा वर्चस्व है विश्व में और अच्छी ग्रोथ भी हो रही है। मैनमेड टेक्सटाइल्स और टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल्स ये ऐसे क्षेत्र हैं जो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजार में बहुत बड़े रूप में इस्तेमाल होते हैं और जिसकी वृद्धि भी तेज गति से हो रही है। आज 2/3 जो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजार है, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय व्यापार है, वो 2/3 मैनमेड टेक्सटाइल्स और टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल्स का रहता है। ऐसे परिस्थिति में भारत भी उस पूरे इकोसिस्टम में मैनमेड फाइबर्स के फैब्रिक में, उसके गारमेंट्स में भी अपना योगदान दे पाए, उसके लिए विशेषकर ये पीएलआई स्कीम मंजूरी की गई है। जैसा माननीय अनुराग जी ने कहा 10,683 करोड़ रुपए इसमें इंसेंटिव के रूप में प्रोडक्शन के ऊपर दिए जाएंगे। जो लोग, और इसको 2 भाग में रखा है, जो लोग 100 करोड़ से अधिक निवेश करते हैं और जो लोग 300 करोड़ से अधिक निवेश करते हैं। साधारणतः हमारा अनुमान है कि इसमें से ग्लोबल चैंपियंस निर्माण।
Right, let's have a detailed discussion on this. A main panel of guests is also with us. We have Mr. V.K. Singh, who is Additional Secretary, Ministry of Textiles. Welcome, sir. Dr. Sundar Raman KS, who is the Chairman, Indian Technical Textile Association and Managing Director, Shiva Texyan Limited. Welcome, sir. And Neeraj Jain is also with us, who is Joint Managing Director, Vardhman Textiles, Ludhiana. Warm welcome to all of you. Mr. Singh, if I can come to you first. Government has cleared the PLI scheme for the textile sector with an outlay of 10,683 crores in total. So we want to know from you what will be the focus of the policy to create global champions like Minister Piyush Goyal also said.
Several segments of the textile value chain, the processing, weaving and processing is a weak link.
Yeah.
So we are encouraging higher investment in that because they require larger investment, more than 300-400 crore rupees for one unit to be set up. So those we expect around 10-20-30 of those players will invest to serve the other smaller players like the garment sector, which requires very smaller investment. So the smaller investment of 100 crore is basically going to attract the garment manufacturer, the technical textile manufacturer, those type of people. So joint these two group of investment will be able to take the MMF sector ahead because MMF processing is little more technologically advanced and we have to have some modern technology for that and that will come through the higher investment. That is the idea of it.
Right, and also Dr. Sundar Raman, if I can come to you, what do you make of this in the sense that long-awaited announcement and incentivized production in the man-made fibers and also technical textiles specifically?
Thank you. As the Indian Technical Textile Association, I have to say we really welcome this move and we thank the government for bringing it on because the PLI has been much talked about for quite some time now. and it's glad that the announcement has officially been made. It is a landmark scheme because it's the first turnover-based scheme that we are seeing. Earlier schemes have been interest subvention schemes and capital subsidy schemes. If I don't know the exact specifics, we are waiting for the details. But if I were to do a simple math of taking the 19,000 crores projected investment and the 10,683 crores disbursement numbers, we are talking about almost a 57% reimbursement or incentivization on the total capital employed. That for me is an extraordinarily significant activity. If that is coupled with some of the other schemes, both at central and more notably at state level, all of the state governments are giving their own incentives for attracting investments. You are looking at anything conservatively, and even with certain allowances given for some people not achieving some of the numbers in some of the years. You are looking at anywhere between a 45 to 70% incentivization on the investments. And for me, I think that's an unprecedented level of incentivization for new investments anywhere in the world. I think Indian textile industry, particularly the technical textile and MMF fiber industry, is looking forward to a completely new era. We are going to leapfrog from where we are right now.
Right, Mr. Neerajan, we want to know your first reaction here. Like Mr. Sundaraman, Dr. Sundaraman also said, it's a landmark announcement and a long-awaited announcement. We have been waiting for this for very long.
If you look at the world market of textiles, I think almost 70% of the world market is in favor of man-made, whereas India, the situation was different, which means clearly we are lagging, though we are very strong on the cotton, but at the same time we are lagging on the man-made fiber. And to boost up the end, we want to grow in the textiles. Probably cotton being the natural product, the growth can have a limited growth only. So the only possible way of growing is through the man-made route. So I think that's from that perspective, it's a beautiful scheme where the government has considered it appropriate to incentivize the industry so that more and more investment can come in. And once the investment is there, I think the overall textile will grow, and which will create jobs also, direct, indirect. So quite clearly, this is a step in the right direction, considering the raw material availability and also the world trends, where India is a little different compared to the world markets today.
Steps in the right direction, you are saying, but what are the product categories the scheme will cover? We'll talk about that. But let's listen in first what Commerce and Industry Minister and Textile Minister Mr. Piyush Goyal is saying. Our correspondent spoke exclusively with the Commerce and Industry Minister and Textile Minister Mr. Piyush Goyal. Let's listen in what he said. Right, so long-awaited announcement and will incentivize production in the man-made fibers and technical textiles. So government has cleared the light. Take it.
सर, कैसे बदलाव आएगा पूरे कपड़ा क्षेत्र में देखें, क्योंकि हमने देखा है पीएलआई स्कीम जिन दूसरे सेक्टर्स में लागू हुई वहां पर इसके बड़े सकारात्मक नतीजे आए हैं. कपड़ा क्षेत्र में किस तरह से बदलाव?
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की जो सोच है वो इस देश में जो हमारी ट्रेडिशनल इंडस्ट्री है, एक तरफ उसको सपोर्ट करना, दूसरी तरफ कई ऐसे क्षेत्र हैं जहां पीछे रह गए. विश्व के बाजार में आज 2/3 व्यापार, इंपोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट पूरे इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड का देखें तो 2/3 व्यापार आज मैनमेड फाइबर और टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल का होता है. गारमेंट्स में तो लगता ही है, लेकिन डिफेंस में, हेल्थ में, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में, सड़क वगैरह बनाने में, हर जगह आजकल टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल्स लगते हैं. ऐसी परिस्थिति में भारत भी कैसे एक विश्व शक्ति बन सके, इस क्षेत्र में भी हम कैसे कंपेटिटिव हो, मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी भारत में लाएं, लोगों की स्किल डेवलपमेंट हो और बड़े स्केल पे ग्लोबल चैंपियंस बने टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल्स और मैनमेड फाइबर में. इसके लिए ये प्रोडक्शन लिंक्ड इंसेंटिव स्कीम माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी की अध्यक्षता में कैबिनेट ने अप्रूव की है. इसके तहत पूरी वैल्यू चेन, फाइबर को भी सपोर्ट करेंगे, गारमेंट्स को भी करेंगे और एक नया क्षेत्र जो पहले भारत में बहुत बड़े पैमाने पे नहीं था, इसको भी साथ ही साथ प्रमोट करेंगे.
हमने देखा जब कोरोना महामारी आई थी, भारत में किस तरह से पीपीई किट बिल्कुल नहीं बनता था और हम आज एक बड़े लीडर के तौर पर पूरे विश्व में खड़े हुए हैं, तो क्या यह माना जाए कि ये PLI स्कीम के बाद आने वाले वर्षों में टेक्सटाइल में जो वैश्विक हिस्सेदारी है भारत की वो बढ़ेगी?
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के एक आह्वान पे साल सवा साल में हम विश्व के सेकेंड लार्जेस्ट पीपीई मैन्युफैक्चरर बन, आत्मनिर्भर बन गए और आज पूरे विश्व में हमारे पीपीई जा रहे हैं। तो ये दिखाते हैं कि भारत में हुनर है, क्षमता है, कैपेबिलिटी है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने इसको तुरंत समझा और हम कोशिश करेंगे ऐसे नए नए मार्केट्स भारत कैप्चर करे और अंतरराष्ट्रीय बाजार में हमारी हिस्सेदारी बढ़े।
इस स्कीम का कहा जा रहा है कि टियर 2, टियर 3 जो शहर हैं, छोटे जो शहर हैं, उस पर काफी फोकस रहने वाला है। वहाँ की जो टेक्सटाइल की कंपनियां, उनको ज्यादा प्रोत्साहन मिलने वाला है। ये ऐसा सेक्टर है जिसमें महिलाएं बहुत बड़ी संख्या में काम करती हैं और उद्योग के लिहाज से देखें तो दूसरा सबसे ज्यादा एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी आता है।
देश का सबसे बड़ा एम्प्लॉयमेंट वस्त्र क्षेत्र से ही आता है और यू आर राइट, महिलाएं इसमें बहुत बड़े पैमाने पे, कुछ चीजों में तो मुझे बताया गया कि 100% महिलाएं काम करती हैं या 60-70% महिलाएं फैक्ट्रियों में काम करती हैं। तो मैं समझता हूं कि इसका प्रभाव बहुत व्यापक होगा। जो निवेशक टियर 3, टियर 4 टाउन्स यानी और भी छोटे शहर, एक प्रकार से ग्रामीण इलाका ही हो जाता है, या जो एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट में ये यूनिट लगाएंगे उनको हम पहले मंजूरी देंगे, जिससे इसका प्रभाव और डिस्पर्स हो जाए और गांव-गांव में नीचे के इलाके में भी निवेश आए। उससे वहाँ की महिलाओं को, वहाँ के लोगों को, युवाओं को, युवतियों को काम का अवसर मिले। तो मुझे लगता है राज्य भी अभी इस स्पर्धा में आएंगे कि इस इंडस्ट्री को अट्रैक्ट करें और निवेश को उनके क्षेत्र में पहुंचाएं।
आपने हाल ही में कहा था कि टेक्सटाइल को लेकर एक टारगेट सेट किया गया है, 5 साल का बहुत महत्वाकांक्षी टारगेट, तो हम अब उस टारगेट को पा सकेंगे?
ऐसा है, टारगेट मैंने बहुत महत्वाकांक्षी रखा है क्योंकि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी सेकेंड बेस्ट में तो विश्वास ही नहीं रखते हैं। वो तो हर चीज में गति चाहते हैं और उनका मानना है कि भारत को अगर अंतरराष्ट्रीय पटल पर एक मजबूत अर्थव्यवस्था बनाना है तो हमने वर्ल्ड लीडरशिप की तरफ जाना पड़ेगा। उन्होंने अपना पूरी सोच को और देश की सोच को आत्मनिर्भर भारत के तहत भी और उनके अन्य योजनाओं के तहत एक विश्व पटल पर भारत का वर्चस्व बनाने का निर्णय लिया है। तो मुझे विश्वास है कि वस्त्र उद्योग भी उनके उस महत्वाकांक्षी विजन को लेट डाउन नहीं करेगा। उसको मीट करने के लिए, उसको पूरा करने के लिए हम पूरा ताकत जोर लगाएंगे। व्यापक सोच से पूरे वस्त्र क्षेत्र में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का विजन है कि इसको पूरे विश्व भर में कॉम्पिटिटिव वे में क्वालिटी प्रोडक्शन से और अपने बलबूते पे एक मजबूती लाई जाए।
Right, so industry participants have also lauded the government's decision. Mr. Singh, what are the product categories that the scheme will cover, and if you can tell us in detail the broad criteria for selecting the beneficiaries of the scheme?
Basically, this whole thing started with the thinking of promoting MMF-based garment. So garment, if like you all know now that 2/3 of the world trade happens in MMF garment and all. Most of the wealthy countries are cold countries like EU, North America, Japan and all, and they have very short summer months. And they use cotton garment only during summer months, and most of the year they have to go for the winter garments where MMF has a very strong presence. So due to that, we felt that if we have to increase industrial output and employment in textile sector, so that's the way to go. So the most traded garment in the world trade, those were the first pointed out that if these are the garment already being sold and purchased in very, very large quantity, so those are the MMF garment.
Okay.
But then we found that even required fabric is also not adequately available in our country because we have lack of
We'll have to stop you, sir. We'll come back. We have something live coming up. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh is addressing the capacity building workshop for Ladakh officials in Leh.
Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Ladakh, Shri R.K. Mathur ji, whose words of wisdom we were all listening just now. I have to, before I say anything more, compliment him for the manner in which he has taken upon himself the responsibility of establishing, streamlining, and pushing ahead the newly created Union Territory of Ladakh. As he was mentioning, it is not an easy task, and it can only be realized by the one in whose hands this responsibility has been handed over. But I think that itself is the testimony of the wisdom, the experience, and also the capabilities of someone like Mr. R.K. Mathur, that he was picked up by the government to be the founder, LG, of the Union Territory of Ladakh. And to that extent, his name is going to go down in history. Also, as he was mentioning, unlike many other territories, the mechanisms had to be built, to be set up, because earlier to that, this region was just a division, not even a division, it was part of Kashmir division, and administratively had 2 district units, and the administrative hierarchy ended at that. So one can visualize how difficult was the task that was taken upon himself by Mr. Mathur. And then, within 3 months of his taking over, Ladakh was in news for wrong reasons. The first alarm bell of COVID in India rang from Ladakh. It was much later that the pandemic took over in other states. And therefore, initiating a new process and then all of a sudden being confronted with an unponderable, a catastrophe in the form of COVID must have been a testing and a trying time, but I must compliment him. All of us have known Mr. Mathur for long. I have had the privilege of being closely associated with him, having worked with him. He was with us for a long time in the election, in the Information Commission of India. Prior to that, a very successful defense secretary. And therefore, I think it was in the fitness of things that the responsibility was entrusted to him, and he has taken with a great passion and commitment. Mr. Firoz Ahmed Khan, the Chief Executive Councillor of the Autonomous Council of Kargil, is there with us. He has given some very important cues for thought, which I'm sure will come handy when we do the policy planning in the months and years to come. Advocate Gyansan is the Chief Executive Councillor of the LAHDC Leh, again a young, forward-looking, enthusiastic administrator and a leader. And of course, Jamyong Namgyal, whom all of us know very well, our young friend with a lot of vision and a lot of passionate emotion for Ladakh, whose ideas have always come handy to us in planning new programs and projects for Ladakh. And wherever he is in Delhi, you would find him in one or the other ministry, pursuing one or the other project for Ladakh. So that is the kind of consistent commitment with which he is serving the territory as its elected representative. My colleague in the DRPG, Sanjay Singh ji, who is there, at the outset I must say I envy him. I had personally wished to be in Ladakh, in Leh, and I also had a word regarding this with the Honorable Lieutenant Governor Mr. Mathur when he was in Delhi. But I said it might be a little uncertain because you have to spare 3 days for it. So one day you go there, the next day you have the program, and you can't come back. There are no flights in the evening, so you have to come the 3rd day. And given the kind of responsibility that I currently have, it might be difficult to seek out 3 days at testage. And it was his very wise and an elderly advice. He said, no, let's carry on with the date. In case you are not able to make it, we now have the online provision also. But otherwise, I wish I was there to share the ambience, the milieu, the climate, and the picturesque backdrop of the city of Leh. Mr. V. Srinivas, the Regional Secretary, who has been over the last few years pursuing this program of conducting such workshops in different parts of the country, is virtually covered the entire India in spite of the COVID. He's been there in Jammu, in Srinagar, in Ladakh, in Nagpur, in Guwahati, in Shillong. Just name a place and you will find Srinivas has been actively pursuing this agenda, and he is also in the process of become a familiar figure among the administrators of different states and the UTs. Shri NVS Rajput, the Joint Secretary, our colleagues from the Union Territory of Ladakh, Mr. Ajit Kumar Sahu, Commissioner Secretary, GAD, officers of the Union Territory of Ladakh, my colleagues and officers from the Department of Administrative Reforms who are joining.
Right, so this was Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh addressing the capacity building workshop for Ladakh officials in Leh. So the objective of the program is to familiarize the Ladakh officials with central government's laws on procurement, financial management and good governance. And while addressing, he also hailed R.K. Mathur, who is the LG of Ladakh. We'll take a very short break here. When we come back, we'll discuss the topic of In Focus, which is government clears PLI scheme for textile sector at an outlay of rupees 10,683 crore. What will be the focus of the policy and other factors, what all the benefits are there and who all can avail the benefit, all of that after a short break.
Namaste India.
Namaste land.
Marhaban ila al-Hind. Zari India.
Salam
India. Namaste India.
Namaskar Bharata.
Muy India.
Nahnu
Hunud. India.
Ma Hindi Hasti.
Mung Hindian.
Salam Hindustan.
We are India.
Your window to rising India. India's voice on global platforms. Latest news from India and around the world. In-depth analysis of global headlines. Watch DD India in your country. Available for downlink in all Southeast Asian countries. STTV broadcast is available through the satellite GSAT 17 at 93.5 degrees east. HDTV broadcast is available through the satellite GSAT 10 at 83 degrees east. For technical details, scan here. Switch to DD India now.
Welcome back. We are discussing the PLI scheme in the textile sector and we have few reactions also. FICCI Secretary General Dilip Chenoy said that the PLI scheme will not only benefit the textile sector but also empower the man-made fiber sector. He added that the scheme will enhance the country's brand image and generate over 8 lakh employment opportunity.
FICCI welcomes the announcement of the production-linked incentive for the textile industry. We thank the Prime Minister and the Honourable Minister for this initiative. This will act as a tremendous boost to the textile sector, particularly the man-made fiber segment and the technical textiles segment here. It will result in significant investment of over close to 20,000 crores and close to 8 lakh jobs could be created, and adding an overall kind of turnover of about 3 lakh crores over the next 5 years.
And former chairman, Apparel Export Promotion Council, Ministry of Textiles, HKL Magu, said that PLI scheme for textile sector will prove to be a bonanza. He added that it will be a boost for production and further enhance the exports.
In textile industry, earlier India was doing 70% cotton and 30% man-made fiber, whereas the demand of the world is 67% viscose, man-made fiber and 33% cotton. This way, our exports were always slow in the months of May to August. The factories were not running at the full speed. We were hardly doing 30 to 40% production. By announcement of this scheme, what will happen that the big firms or the companies who invest 300 crores for the investment and production of 600 crores in 2 years' time will get extra incentive of 15%.
And traders from Mumbai have welcomed government's approval of PLI scheme for textile sector. They say that the move will benefit the industry and people associated at large.
केंद्रीय मंत्रिमंडल द्वारा घोषित की गई 10,683 करोड़ की PLI स्कीम का हम हार्दिक स्वागत करते हैं। इसके लिए हम आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी श्री नरेंद्र जी मोदी एवं वस्त्रोद्योग मंत्री आदरणीय पीयूष जी गोयल का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं। इसकी इंडस्ट्री को काफ़ी लंबे समय से आवश्यकता थी, क्योंकि मैनमेड टेक्सटाइल क्षेत्र में एवं टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल्स में ग्लोबली कंजम्पशन के हिसाब से भारत काफ़ी पीछे चल रहा है। इन क्षेत्रों को बढ़ावा देने के लिए ये स्कीम बहुत काम आएगी और इंडस्ट्री से इसको बहुत बड़ा फ़ायदा मिलेगा।
PLI स्कीम लाने के लिए हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी और टेक्सटाइल मिनिस्टर श्री पीयूष गोयल जी का खूब खूब धन्यवाद। ये 10,863 करोड़ की स्कीम काफ़ी अच्छी है और उत्साहजनक भी है इंडस्ट्री के लिए। इसका फ़ायदा अपने इंडस्ट्री को भी होगा, देश को भी होगा, देश की GDP बढ़ेगी और यहाँ पे लोगों को जैसे स्किल्ड और अनस्किल्ड लेबर है उनको नौकरी भी मिलेगी और ओवरऑल पूरे देश को नंबर 1 टेक्सटाइल में बनाने के लिए ये काफ़ी लाभदायक भी हो सकता है।
Right, eminent panel is also with us. I'll introduce them again. Mr. V.K. Singh is with us, who's Additional Secretary, Ministry of Textiles. Mr. Dr. Sundar Raman, KS, Chairman, Indian Technical Textile Association and Managing Director, Shiva Texyan Limited. And we also have Mr. Neeraj Jain, Joint Managing Director, Vardhman Textiles, Ludhiana. Mr. Singh, if I can come to you again, before we went to the live, we were discussing about the product categories the scheme will cover, and also the broad criteria for selecting the beneficiaries of the scheme, sir.
Yeah, the first, as I explained earlier, the garment, MMF garment is the first category. There are garments which are exported or which are traded in large volume. So those are those garments, basically jerseys, pullovers, and women dress, and all those type of made of MMF garment. Then MMF fabric is another category. And technical textile, there is a multi-various, it's a multi-category basically item, where basically infrastructure related, flood control, water, road construction related, agro tech, protection related like bulletproof jackets and all, even airbag, mobile technology, so many things in aviation industry. There is a lot of technical textiles, basically material of future. So we have even medical tech, the PPE, even heart valves, those type of medical implants are also made of technical textile matter. So that these are the categories depending upon the choice of the entrepreneur. Whatever he feels that is good for him, he can select those from this basket. Apart that, the selection of beneficiary, selection of the participant company will happen by way of application. We will invite application very soon, and we will give an adequate a wide window for application. They will apply, and depending upon, like, there's one important parameter which has been chosen for selecting the company is that location of the investment. So some company planning to invest in aspirational districts, tier 3, tier 4 towns in the rural area where there are adequate number of people, employable people available, they will get some preference. Because we had interaction with the exporters, and it came out that the large number of our garment manufacturing hub today is in the metro towns. And now they are finding it difficult to get people because people are working in almost more employed in the urban area, and so they have to depend on the migrant workers. So now if they go to the places where the migrant workers are themselves living there, so that will make the availability of worker very easy. That's one criteria. Then the size of investment will be also given preference. Number of people employed. If somebody is employing 5,000 people and some proposal they are saying that they will be able to employ 10,000 of people, so that those projects will be given more preference. So on these categories, basically, the selection will happen.
Okay, but sir, one more thing, sir. What is the process also for availing the benefit? If you can explain the incentives also involved, who gets the priority, and what if there are more takers?
The selection and priority will happen only for the selection process. Once they are selected, whichever company, because it's a fund limited scheme. This is not unlimited. This is not that everybody who wants to join, they will be able to join. Because we have limited money available. So once, depending upon these criteria, the companies are decided in both categories. The large investment category and the small category. So they will be given 2-year time, 22-23, 2 financial years they will be given for construction of the factory set, putting up the machines and starting the production. The 24-25 they will start production, and they have to achieve a benchmark of 200 crore in a smaller investment and 400 crore in 600 crore in the larger investment group of the production sales turnover. If they achieve that, then in the next year, 25-26, they will be given first year of incentive, which will be for the larger investment. It's a higher incentive, 15% of the turnover. For the smaller investment, it's a lower incentive of 11% of the turnover. Percentage on the basis of turnover, not the investment. So it's a good incentive, and they will continue getting incentive for 5 years, 4 more years. First year is that, and after 4 more years, and the rate of incentive will decline.
Okay.
And incentive will be available only on incremental turnover, not on the total turnover in subsequent year. Like first year they did 600 crore, second year they have to do 750 crore. But since 600 has already been incentivized once, so the incentive in the second year will be on 150 crore, which is an incremental turnover. So that's the principle. But the beauty of the whole scheme is that other incentive, like state government incentive, if some of them are able to export their product, although export is not our agenda on this scheme, it's only the scheme is available to everybody, selling domestically also, and people who will be exporting for them also. So those benefits, those return of their taxes, so those things are also available. So that way it will be very incentivized, and it will create huge employment. That is our object.
And also, Dr. Sundaraman, like Mr. Singh is also saying, PLI scheme has been divided into 2 parts, if I'm not wrong. Who invest over 100 crores, there are 2 criteria, 100 crores and 300 crores. If you can explain that in detail for the benefit of our viewers.
Right, sir. So let me try to do this best. I mean, Mr. Singh is the official view, so I think I will defer to him if I make any mistake. But my understanding is that Originally before the draft levels, the scheme was envisaged for people who were already doing a certain level of business in the notified segments of technical textiles and MMF. My understanding is that that has been done away with, and now anyone who is ready to invest either in the first level, the higher level of 300 crores or in the second level of 100 crores can invest. There has to be mechanisms to show that the investments have actually gone into a separate entity for this purpose. There has to be, the investments have to go into all areas except for land and for administrative buildings. And the project has to come to a 2x of investment turnover within in 24 months from the start of the program. I think all of this is achievable. If that is done, like Mr. Singh said, my understanding is that the first year you get incentivization of the full turnover, and subsequent years you get incentivization on the incremental turnover. It is definitely attractive. I think there is multiple criteria which are going to be used for selection. The press note and the announcement already talks about schemes in rural areas. And I would like to bring to your notice here that this is entirely possible because Government of India is also about to launch a Mitra scheme, a mega textile park scheme.
Okay.
There's 10,000 crores earmarked for 7 centers across the country. And these parks, by dint of the fact that they're 1,000 acres large units, are going to be in rural areas. So people who try to piggyback on the Mitra scheme and the PLI scheme would find themselves advantageous and would probably rank higher when it comes to the selection matrix that the government is going to use to select those eligible for the PLI scheme. That's my understanding at this point of time.
Okay, and Mr. Neeraj Jain, also like Mr. Singh also said, traditionally India has focused more on the cotton textiles, but focus of this PLI scheme will be technical textiles and also man-made fibers which are of higher value, MMF, and globally competitive.
Yeah, that's true. So if you look at the Indian consumption matrix today, we are equally divided between the availability of fiber, equally between cotton and man-made, which is almost 6 million tons for each category. And whereas the world markets are much different, where the cotton is less than 30% and 70% is the man-made. So in case we have to grow, as I mentioned earlier also, the farming is limited available to the country. And being a natural product, the growth of cotton can't be more than the yield growth or some nominal growth in the acreage. So eventually, any kind of growth which is required to grow this industry can come only and only through man-made. And in the man-made sense, the availability of good weaving and processing was a big chain. So that's one issue. Second, as the GDP of the country will improve, as the per capita income will improve, the country will require more and more infrastructure. Country will require more and country will become more and more conscious for the safety of the people also. So the need for technical textile can be really much higher in the coming years as the country is growing. And I think to that extent, creating the right capacity at the right stage would be a really a great step going forward.
But Mr. Sundaraman, why our share in the man-made fiber is very low? Because we focus on the cotton textiles more traditionally, and maybe it's rightly so also because of the maybe the climate and other factors too?
Partly, yes, in all those points. Essentially, what has happened is that being a cotton growing country, and by dint of the fact that for more than 60-70 years we have had a world-class cotton spinning and weaving and further processing equipment manufacturer in the country, India has become a cotton powerhouse.
Yeah. And
historically we always try to do continue to do what we are strong at. So there was a relative sense of ignoring for the man-made sector, which is compounded by the fact that until recently the raw material inputs, whether be it polyester or be it some of the other more specialized fibers, the raw material availability to manufacturers in India was always at a definitely a significantly higher cost. The recent trends that the government of India has taken under the Honorable Prime Minister in taking away anti-dumping duties on many of the fibers has actually created a level playing field where the availability of these fibers today for an Indian manufacturer is at a globally competitive level. So all the right things are coming into place, and with these kind of new schemes, with the fact that our raw material competitiveness is on, and the fact that the MMF is not all that different, it's very easy for cotton manufacturers to move into that segment. I think it's a new dawn for the MMF and technical textile segment. Technical textiles and MMFs almost go hand in hand because predominant use of fibers in technical textiles is MMF. So I think it's a new era, and I'm sure we'll be able to have a dominant position in this area as well.
Rightly put forward by you, sir. Mr. Singh, if I can come to you again about this scheme, how will this aid textile exports? Because India, you think, has been losing grounds to Bangladesh and maybe Vietnam, or you think focus is more important on the production and not the exports due to this scheme? I mean, talking about the PLI scheme.
No, focus is on production, but we have to understand that textile is a highly mobile industry. It has throughout the history. We were the first textile superpower. For thousands of years, Indian textile was known all over the world. People were very fond of Indian textile, and that's why we were known as Sone ki Chiniya, because all the money, gold used to come in exchange of Indian textile in the ancient times. We lost it at the time of colonization. Our spinning, our weaving and all remained static. We did not improve the technology, and the colonizer also deliberately destroyed the whole Indian textile economy. But we again got it back from the early 20th century, World War I time, because there was a requirement of mechanized weaving and all, and we had those mills established. But somehow we have not been doing so well in recent times. But now, after this policy, this is a new dawn, like Mr. Jain and Mr. Sundarajan has said. This is a new way of industrial development. We have been developing industry by capital incentive, but there was no time limit. This is the first scheme where it's totally time bound. Everybody has to do things in particular time period. If the investor is not able to do the investment in 2 years, he will lose money. So there is an incentive built in for on-time performance, for performance of production and all. So once we stick to time, definitely we will be very cost effective. Most of the cost escalation happens due to the delay in the construction, delay in the everything. So that's the time that we have to be on time and cheap producer and of high quality goods. Once we are, our productivity is high, we will be competitive in the world also, and it's very easy to gain market share once you are competitive. But we have to keep it in mind that we have to be competitive on sustainable basis. If we are not competitive on sustainable basis, some other country will come and they will take our share again.
True that.
So this is the time we are trying to gain our market share in the world trade, and we have to work continuously to keep ourselves competitive. So our labor productivity, labor training, labor regulations should look at that how to make our labor more competitive. Our power situation has to be very, very competitive so that our costs are best, lowest, and the quality is the best. That's the objective.
And also, sir, it will generate a lot of employment too. 7.5 lakh people will be employed according to the government's release because of this scheme, and a lot of women workers will also be employed.
Yeah, this textile sector is highly labor intensive sector, and the part of industry which we are focusing, the garment and technical textile, the labor employment is much more. So even this 7.5 lakh is a conservative approach. I think there can be more direct employment, and indirect employment will be more than this. So like support industry, the trucks which will bring and move the goods, and other industry, the food delivery, and also all sorts of things. So there will be huge indirect employment of supporting people also. So this is the direct employment we are expecting, minimum 7.5 lakh.
Okay. Mr. Sundaraman, if we talk about the overall view of this textile sector, PM Modi has given a big boost to this sector. Everyone will agree to that. Like Mr. Piyush Goyal was also saying yesterday. Can you explain that in detail, the benefit that this sector has been getting in the current government? and how it has developed for the entire growth of the country.
Right, sir. I do agree with you that the current government under the Prime Minister and the Minister of Textiles and Commerce has been doing multiple steps. Of late, if you notice, there has been an announcement for ROT-DEP and for ROSCL. The reduction of duties is one of the main demands from the industry to achieve parity in the export markets. So a historic declaration has been done. The rates of ROSCL for made-ups and garments has been extremely generous. This gives us international parity. We need to understand that most of the schemes that the government of India gives us today have to be WTO compliant. While generous schemes were given in the past, today there is absolutely no scope of giving some of those schemes which are not WTO compliant. So every scheme, including the PLI scheme that's been announced now, have to be looked at from the perspective of WTO compliance before the government announces it.
Yeah.
So we have got revision of duties in the mission on technical textiles, particularly in the field of technical textiles, which I represent. There's been a 1,400 odd crore mission towards market sensitization, towards market assistance, towards creation of an EPC for technical textiles, and a good portion of that money has been earmarked for fundamental R&D. The vision, I think, of the government is to create self-sufficiency not just in manufacturing levels, using the arbitrage of efficient workforce and low cost, but also to become a technology leader by creating original intellectual property that would capsulate us into the next level of value addition in terms of the products we make. Some of these schemes would come into effect immediately, like the ROT-DEP and the ROSCL. The benefits of some of the other things, like the money invested in R&D, in specialty fibers, etc., would take definitely years to come. But I think everything is going in the right direction of making us a textile powerhouse.
Right direction, you said. And Mr. Jain, last reaction, we are running short of time. So big step forward towards realizing the dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat?
It looks yes, because as we mentioned earlier, the other participants are also mentioning, with the increase in our man-made base, I'm sure both for the domestic and for the exports market, we can really do very, very good. For example, the government is supporting also, government is looking at the targets also. So this year, the textile target export for the export is 30% plus compared to the previous year. Government is supporting by way of ROTF, ROSCL also. So till now, I think first 4 months we are right on the track, and it looks like in case we can grow by 30% annualized for next couple of years, the industry can definitely take a very, very strong position and a very different shape altogether.
Absolutely. Mr. Singh, last reaction from you, same question from you, big step towards realizing the dream of PM's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Yeah, this is not going to be only for the textile sector. What I feel is this way of industrial development, this production linked incentivization is basically whenever we do investment support and all, then we feel that whether we are always not very sure about the impact, output and outcome of that thing. But here the incentivization happens right at the output and outcome level. So the output and outcome is ensured. So for a government expenditure, this is the best way to do it.
Right.
And I think this is going to be a new era for industrial promotion strategy for the government. So the way the employment is ensured, the production is ensured, the money is always well spent. And whatever government spends, basically government gets large part of it through the tax revenue also and the multiplier effect in the economy. So it's a win-win for the industry and for the government and for people. They get huge employment opportunity. So this is the way we must go forward in future.
And the target also looks realistic, sir. And talking about the textile sector, it is estimated that over the period of 5 years, the PLI scheme for textiles will lead to fresh investment of more than rupees 19,000 crore and cumulative turnover of rupees 3 lakh crore will be achieved under this scheme. We'll leave it here. Thank you, Mr. V.K. Singh, Mr. Sundaraman and Mr. Jain for giving us your precious time. Well, that's all we have in Focus. You stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.